What's up, everybody? It's Mighty, and we're back with another Sunday vlog. Before I get into it, yes, we have our Christmas tree still up. It is because we liked how it looks, and we're also very lazy. So I'll sit right here so you can't see it. No, it's dying, but it's still pretty. But what I want to talk about today is my most anticipated movies coming out in 2015, this year. Last week, or the week before that, I had actually put together a video similar to my top 15 games of 2015 video, where I used clips and I kind of talked over them, and I really liked it. Spent probably 5 hours putting it together, and then I uploaded it, and apparently film trailers are different than game trailers, and studios care more about their trailers being in videos than game companies do, because when I uploaded it and I had 10 trailers in the video, it popped up and said, this video is blocked worldwide because Universal Studios and MGM and all these other places say you're not allowed to use that trailer, and if you don't delete it immediately, you're going to get a copyright strike. So I panicked and deleted it. So now I'm just going to have to talk about it, and I can't show you guys the trailers, but I'm going to link all the trailers in the description for all the movies I'm talking about. I'm going to be listing my top 10 most anticipated movies in order, but before we get to the actual list, I have 3 honorable mentions that I want to talk about. Knight of Cups is a new Terrence Malick movie. Stars Christian Bale and Natalie Portman, two of the best actors there are right now. It's very existential. It reminds me a lot of Requiem for a Dream, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but doesn't without the comedy aspects of that movie. And it just seems like it's like a coming of age movie, but for someone who's in their 30s or 40s, figuring out who they are. It seems like that kind of movie. It's just very existential. That's the best word I can use for it. I love the cinematography so far in it that I've seen in the trailer. It just looks really cool, and it's got 2 brilliant actors in it, so I'm sure that'll be really good. True Story is a movie with James Franco and Jonah Hill, and it follows a true story, of course, about Jonah Hill plays this news reporter, and when this guy who commits murder gets arrested, he claims to be Jonah Hill's character, and that murderer is James Franco. So then Jonah Hill, as the reporter, that's a story for him. He wants to figure out why he did this, what's going on, and it gets really complicated, I'm sure. It just looks like an interesting setup for a movie, and when James Franco isn't being dumb, I think he's a good actor, and I think Jonah Hill is a lot better actor than people give him credit for when he takes on more dramatic roles, so that one looks really cool. Final one of my little honorable mentions is In the Heart of the Sea, which is a new Ron Howard movie, so it's going to be big, grand scale, it's going to be long, and it's going to be really, powerful looking, but it follows I guess it's a true story of the guys that hunted Moby Dick, and it stars Chris Hemsworth, who I'm not sold on as a legitimate actor. I like him as Thor, and I think his little comedic moments are funny, but I'm not sure I think he's actually a good actor, but we'll see, because he's the lead role in this film. Cillian Murphy's also in it, and I'm a really big fan of his, and it just looks like a really cool, interesting movie. There's a lot of drama and tension to it, and action sequences with this giant freaking whale. And Ron Howard doesn't direct many not great movies, so I'm sure that one will be really good. Last little thing to mention before we start the top 10. I'm only including movies that there are trailers for. So there's a lot of stuff coming out in the second half of the year, like the new Mission Impossible movie, the new James Bond movie, that we just haven't seen anything from, so I don't feel right listing it on the list, but I may make a list specifically for the second half. But there are a couple movies on this list that come out at the end of the year, so I don't know, who knows. But I only wanted to include movies that we've actually already seen trailers for, so I guess let's start off. Number 10 is Jupiter Ascending. It's by the Wachowski siblings. I am nervously excited for it, I guess. I'm trying to remain optimistic, because the first Matrix movie is amazing. The second and third Matrix movies are not amazing. So I don't really know which Wachowskis we're going to get. If it's the first Matrix movie or the later Matrix movies, it's impossible to tell. Channing Tatum is the lead in it. Probably my least favorite actor in Hollywood. So that's not helping my excitement, but it looks like a really cool universe they're setting up. It's like this space galactic travel, and Mila Kunis plays this Earth woman who apparently is the queen of something, and so Channing Tatum comes and saves her and takes her to this space place. It just, the visuals look really stunning, and I like that aspect of it. Can't tell if the story is going to be a complete hot mess like The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revelations. What was the third one? I don't even remember. If it's going to be like that, but it looks interesting, and I'm willing to look past the Channing Tatum wooden face where everything. He just delivers his lines like this, every single line. He has no emotion in his face ever. Oh God, he's so terrible. I hate him. So that's Jupiter Ascending. Number 9 is Jurassic World, and this is another one that I'm kind of like about, but I know tons of other people are really excited about it, so I at least wanted to talk about it. I really like Chris Pratt. I think he's funny, and I think can be a good action hero guy, like we saw a little bit in Guardians of the Galaxy. But this doesn't seem to be a role with any sort of charm or wit to it. He just looks very like a straightforward guy in this movie, and that's kind of a waste. I don't know. I like the story setup of scientists tinkering with that dinosaur DNA to make our own dinosaurs, and of course it goes horribly wrong because of course it does. So I like that part of it, but the trailer just didn't do a ton for me. It was a bunch of CG. I really did like the moment with like the sea dinosaur when it jumps up out of the water and it's friggin' huge, and I like them having Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World, or whatever it's called in the movie, as an actual functioning park. Because we haven't really seen that in any of the other Jurassic Park movies. They were all, like, the first one hadn't opened yet, the second one is closed, and then most of it takes place in the city. Man, that movie was terrible. And then the third one is, like, them trying to rebuild it, so they come in with a small group of people, and they crash, and blah, 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 and that was a terrible movie as well. So this one will be interesting because it looks like Disney World with dinosaurs, so I really like that. It's just the trailer just didn't do a ton for me, but we'll see. Number 8 is Inside Out. It's a new Pixar movie, and I haven't really seen people talking that much about it, which kind of surprises me because Pixar has not made a bad movie. I mean, even something like Cars 2 had its funny moments. But this one, I don't know, it looks really cute. It's kind of the setup is, what if there were beings inside of your head, like your emotions that controlled you, and they all argued about what to say or what to do. And the trailer is really cute. It's like a family, and it zooms in between their heads, the mom, the dad, and the daughter making decisions. I really enjoyed the trailer, and it's got Amy Poehler and Mindy Kaling. I think Bill Hader is in it. So it's got a really strong voice cast, and I mean, it's a Pixar movie. I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where it's really cutesy for kids, but also has a lot of kind of hidden adult humor for people our age to get. So I'm really excited for that one. Number 7 is Ant-Man, and this one probably would have been much higher on the list before we saw the trailer. I loved when it was first announced that Edgar Wright was going to be directing it and writing it, and Paul Rudd was going to be starring in it. Michael Douglas is in it. Evangeline Lilly, drool, is going to be in it. But then when Edgar Wright dropped out, and I don't even know who's directing it now, some guy I don't even think I had heard of, and I kind of was like, not nervous for it, but I was just kind of like, it's going to not be as... I would have loved to see what Edgar Wright would have done with a Marvel property was my biggest thing, and I love Paul Rudd too. But now that they've shown the trailer, it just looks really generic. Like, it just looks like a superhero movie. I didn't get a ton of a sense of humor, and that's Paul Rudd's wheelhouse. He has, like, his one little witty line in there about, like, are you sold on the name Ant-Man? Because Ant-Man is a really dumb name, and that's part of what makes the character so charming. But I don't know, Marvel, just like, Pixar, they haven't made a bad movie yet. I don't know if this might be the first one. It certainly could be. They're bound to make a bad movie at some point. But I love Paul Rudd. Ant-Man is a really good character, and then the Wasp, the character Evangeline Lilly is playing, is a really good character, and their dynamic is really interesting, so I'm curious to see what route they go with that, because it could get really dark if they follow some of the comics. But I'm excited for that one. It's just... that would have been like number 3 or 4 on my list, except if it weren't for this trailer. That was just kind of like, it's just a straightforward trailer. But I'm sure we'll see more, and I'll get my hype back up for it. Number 6 is Tomorrowland, which is actually a Disney movie, which I would not have guessed from the trailer. I get a really strong Wizard of Oz vibe from it. It's like this alternate plane of existence that exists only for people that have this special pin. And this girl is like released from juvie or something like that, and the pin is sitting there, and when she touches it, it like transports her to this world. And it's a really cool trailer. Like the way they cut back and forth it's really good. George Clooney is in it. He kind of does some narration over the trailer, and he seems to be kind of like the Oz character of this, like the leader of this city. We haven't really seen that much of it. It's just that one little teaser trailer, but I just like the setup of it, and this alternate world that's very... I mean, she wakes up in this, like, field, and then it's panning around, and she looks behind her, and you see this big, futuristic, glistening, like, everything is rounded kind of city, and it looks like Oz. It, like, straight up looks like Oz. So, a modern-day Wizard of Oz movie could be really cool, and that's why I'm most excited for Tomorrowland. Number 5 is Ex Machina. I actually hadn't even heard of this movie until I was doing some research for this list specifically. It has Donald Gleason and Oscar Isaacs in it, and they're both in the Star Wars movie, so I'm really curious to see them acting together in it. The basic setup is Oscar Isaacs plays this kind of scientist guy, and he's created this AI woman, and he brings in Donald Gleason to kind of test it out, and he lives with her and, like, figures out how real she is and all this kind of stuff, and obviously, like, this kind of sexual tension happens, and everything is not as it seems, and, like... Oscar Isaacs and Donald Gleason are friends, but like then I think it's Ava or Eve is the name of the AI, and she's like, he's not your friend, blah blah blah. It's just a really dark, mysterious trailer, and I think they're both fantastic actors. I'm not familiar with the girl that's playing the robot character, but it just looks really, really interesting, and like it's more. I wouldn't call it like an indie movie in the terms of the stereotype that we typically put on indie, but it seems to be like lower budget, not a big studio movie, and so it's mostly like small rooms and just actors getting to act and bring us into this world and into their characters. And so I think that one could be really, really cool and really surprise a lot of people that hadn't heard of it. Number 4 is Mad Max Fury Road. I am so pumped for this movie. It's like the opposite of, like, me as an actor and as like a nerdy film buff with pretension or whatever. Like, I really love actors acting, you know, like creating these characters and really bringing us into this situation and just all the drama that comes from it and really great direction and all that kind of stuff. Mad Max is not that. It's not like a dumb summer blockbuster like a Transformers movie would be, but it's very over the top, like comic book style, not like the Marvel movies because those are more realistic, but like Sin City style, where everything's really over the top, a lot of really cool camera angles and big huge crane shots and sweeping vistas, except everything is just dust and desert, because it's Mad Max. I don't know if it's a prequel or a sequel, or I think it's a prequel, but Tom Hardy plays Max, and I think that's like a perfect fit for him. He's barely in the trailer, but like he just has, because it's like really dramatic, like driving music through the whole thing, and he just has like these really good faces that he makes. I don't know, man. You just need to check out the trailer for yourself. It's so stylized. It's like Tarantino-esque and like Robert Rodriguez and like that kind of style. And it's directed by George Miller, who directed the original Mad Max. So I don't know how faithful it will be to the original, because it looks way more over the top than the original movie was. But it certainly looks really bizarre, and there's a dude playing guitar in it, and it turns into a flamethrower, and it's amazing. So check that trailer out. Number 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, and I was kind of surprised that this only ended up being number 3 on the list, because I mean it's a new Avengers movie, but that just shows the strength of the top 2 movies on this list. I'm really excited for it. I mean, it's Avengers 2. I really enjoyed the first one. It was a dumb summer popcorn movie. It didn't have a ton of depth to it, but that's okay. There are other superhero movies that do that. This is more just kind of a fun thing. My only concern with it is that it will act only as a bridge between the first movie where they assembled the team and the third movie, which is when they get, third and fourth, I guess, which is when they get into Infinity War, which is going to be like the big Marvel event of those movies. So hopefully this one can stand on its own with Ultron. Having what's his name? Not Kevin Spacey. James Spader. Having James Spader as the voice of Ultron is a really interesting choice. I definitely wouldn't have anticipated that, but from the trailer, it's like perfect. And he's like doing the Pinocchio quotes, and it's really creepy and bizarre. But I'm really excited to see all those characters back again. Joss Whedon had a great dynamic between all the characters, so hopefully they keep that up. And I'm excited to see and interested to see how they bring in Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, especially after a different Quicksilver being in the X-Men movies, which sucks because it's confusing. But Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe, so I'm really curious to see what they do with that character and see if they bring in any of the other Marvel characters that are getting their own standalone, like if Ant-Man shows up or if Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange shows up. Anything like that could be really interesting. And I'm interested to see if they kill off any characters like Hawkeye, because he is nowhere to be seen. He's not getting a standalone, so who knows. I really like Jeremy Renner, but that character's kind of useless. So, we'll see. I don't know. I'm really pumped for it. Number 2, Chappie. Oh my god. I cry every time I watch that first trailer. There's a second trailer that they put up which seems making it more action-y, which kind of bums me out, but the first trailer is amazing, and that's the one I'm linking in the description. So, absolutely watch that. Just the way the music flows, it sets up this really great emotional mood, and it's kind of telling the story of this robotic AI that is discovering himself, and he's actually learning and has a personality, and he's like growing up. Like, he's like a child existing in this post-apocalyptic world where there are robots, but people don't trust them, and not Heath Ledger. Hugh Jackman plays the, like, military guy that is, like, the villain of the movie. I don't know, man. It just looks like it's going to be really touching, and I'm sure Chappie's going to die at the end, and I'm going to cry like a little baby. I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about it just because it just looks amazing. And Neil Blomkamp is directing it. He directed District 9, which was a total surprise, amazing movie. So hopefully the studio stays out and leaves it in their hands, because the studio got really involved in Elysium, and I think that's why that movie didn't come out the way we kind of wanted it to. But this one looks like it is a heartfelt movie, a story that he was wanting to tell. So I'm really pumped for it. I think it's going to be amazing. And here we are. I've gone so fast through this because I didn't want this video to be a half hour long. But our number one movie, my number one most anticipated movie of 2015, I'm sure you've already guessed what it is because I haven't mentioned it yet. 50 Shades of Grey. No. Fuck that movie. It is Star Wars, Force Awakens. I'm a gigantic Star Wars nerd. This is the movie I'm looking forward to this movie more than I have ever looked forward to a movie. And that's saying something because I'm a big nerd and I love movies. I'm looking forward to this more than, like, Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. And I was in high school when that came out, or 8th grade, I think. And I was so excited because I just started reading the books, and it was just like being able to see this world realize on screen. It was just going to be so amazing. Star Wars is like times 100 my anticipation for that movie. The Phantom Menace came out, I think, in 99, so I was in, like, middle school when that came out. I was only, like, 11 or 12. So I didn't recognize how terrible it was when I first saw it because I was a kid. I still liked it because it was Star Wars. And then the depression of how awful it was set in later once I kind of got older and more mature and realized how terrible that movie is. But this looks fantastic. J.J. Abrams gets Star Wars. He gets Star Wars more than George Lucas gets Star Wars. Practical effects, these, like, big, epic battles, are interesting characters being the forefront of it, not the technology. I don't know, man. It's gonna be amazing. I have full faith, and if it sucks, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be the worst feeling in the world. But I liked what he did to Star Trek. Star Trek is more like popcorny movies, popcorn action, summer blockbuster films than it is like any real heart to them. But I'm not a big Star Trek person anyway, and I really enjoyed them. As a huge Star Wars person, it's going to be harder to earn my love because I have such high expectations for it. But the teaser trailer was awesome. I thought it was perfect for what they're trying to do. People were bummed because we didn't get any sense of the story. We didn't see the original cast. We didn't even see a lot of the new cast. We got, there was no lines. It was just the narration, which was actually done by Andy Serkis, not by Adam Driver, who is playing the villain in it, like people had speculated. But I thought it worked perfectly as a teaser trailer. Because it's a teaser trailer. It's not supposed to tell you what the story is. You're not supposed to know what's going on in the movie. It's little short clips and vignettes to get you pumped. That's what a teaser trailer is for. And as for not seeing the original cast, they've said from the beginning, this is not Luke, Leia, and Han's story. They've had their story. This is the story of these new characters, and they're taking a back seat. They're going to be B characters in this. And I am totally on board with that. I want new characters in this world. I've already gone on Luke Skywalker's journey, and I've already gone on Anakin Skywalker's journey. I want something new. I love this universe, but I want new stories to be told, not rehashes of the old stories. I'm sure they'll play integral parts in it, because, I mean, the whole setup is The Force Awakens. Has The Force been, dormant for however many years? Who knows what's going on with that? If Luke is still a Force user, or if he's starting a new Jedi Order, we don't really know what's going on. And that's the most interesting part is, I was bummed when they decided to get rid of the canonized books and comics, because I read, all of them, and that annoyed me because I'd spent all this time investing in that universe, and then they just, nope, doesn't even exist, and that kind of sucked, but I totally understand why they did it. They don't want to be tied to any of those storylines. I mean, the Thrawn story would have been a great film trilogy, but I totally get why they don't want to do that, because even for hardcore fans who ingest every bit of Star Wars they can, like me, I'm still going to be surprised when I go see it. If they followed anything from the books, I'm sure they would change some stuff, but I was going to know what was going to happen. If if Mara Jade was in there and you find out she's a bounty hunter trying to kill Luke, like in the books, I know that she's not going to. I know that they're going to fall in love and get married and have a kid named Ben. I know that that's going to happen. With this, I'm going to go and sit in that theater and not know anything about it, just like everyone else there, and that's incredibly exciting. So, that is my list. Top 10 movies I'm most excited for in 2015 that we've seen trailers for. So let me know in the comments, what are your most anticipated movies? If it's 50 Shades of Grey, unsubscribe right now. No, not really, but screw that movie. Yes, let me know what you guys think. And if you did enjoy the video, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. And forgive me for my Christmas tree. Thanks, guys. See you in the next video.
We going.